Good morning. Hi, cubies and newbies. I am Sunshine, and I created the ABCube method for solving all things cube. Not all things cube. It doesn't do shapeshifters. It doesn't do binding. It doesn't do the pyraminx or the pyramid. But it does away with parity algorithms. So, good morning. It's Saturday. We made it through a week. And I will do some cube solving. But I wanted to go back in time and show some history here. I went through a lot of different iterations of writing my cube book. One of them was a flowchart. This is Formula A, what 2A looks like. What 5A is the inverse of A, etc. Asking questions. Start with corners. Your first step is your active color. I chose purple as the active color because it was color neutral at the time, and none of them had purple, so purple could be whatever color you wanted it to be. So the first step is look at just the corners, and is your color on top of all four corners? If the answer is no, then you look at the first corner, for the upper right front corner. And if the answer is no, then you look at whether or not it is on anywhere on that cube. And if the answer is no, then tilt the cube slightly away to look at the bottom. And is it anywhere on here? If the answer is no, rotate the bottom 1/4 turn and ask your question again until the answer is yes. And then you do Formula A and go back to the top and say, is it your color on all four tops? Is it on this one top? If the answer is yes, then you rotate the top to keep it safe and ask the question again. And if the answer is no, then if it's somewhere on the top, you do 2A and then ask a question again. Actually, if it's on the right, you do 2A and then it looks like this, and then you do 2A again. And then, once it's all on top, then you look to see, do the sides match as well? If the answer is no, it says, if one side matches, rotate the cube so that the match is in the back, and then do Formula B. And then after you do Formula B, you go back to that's as far as I got. If they all do match, then flip your cube top to bottom. What color is common to the top four now? So it's flipped. And stop. That was fun. Here's another one. Another iteration. This one was geared, I started with the 2x2, and I was going up as I went along. That was before I figured out that I had a mental block I had to overcome in anyone I was teaching. If I started with this lower cube and then went to a higher cube, they're like, no, my brain hurts now, I'm done. And so I just started only teaching with the 5x5 or teaching with a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5, and then I would just every time they got the corners done, I'd take it away and give them another one and say, okay, do the corners again. Okay, do the corners again. And so by the time they were comfortable with the corners, they had memorized A and B, and I said, that's it. There's nothing more you need to learn. Just do B on. If you do B with these two columns instead of these two, then you get edges done. If you do 2 middle columns, then you get centers done. So play around with it, come back next week. And they would come back next week and they'd say, I have just one quick question. And it was usually about parodies or how to get the last 2 cubes are flipped. And I'd take 10 minutes and say, and walk them through it, and then we'd play the rest of the hour just with random cubes and solving them, and here, trying my 7, and here's an 11. Look how big it's not more complicated, it's just more of the same. And by the end of 2 sessions, and they would walk away being able to solve every size cube. So so then I did this, so that was with the 2x2. So now I started with the 5x5. And the question, you start with nothing discernible, and then you look at these 2 corners and you examine those 2 cubies. Is your active color on either cube? If yes, if no, then rotate the bottom 1/4 turn and look at those 2 cubies again, and keep doing that until the answer is yes. When the answer is yes, is your active color on top? No, do A and ask again. Is the active color on top? No, do A and ask again. And the answer is yes. Rotate the top to keep it out of the way, and now look. Is your active corner on all 4 corners? Yes, no. Then look at these 2, and is it somewhere? And until you get to the yes, and then you look at the sides. So again, just very basic. All the sides match? Yes. Go on to continue. One side matches? No. It doesn't matter which one you turn. One side matches? Yes. Rotate the cube so that the color in the back faces. Do formula B, and then after B, do active B. Your active color is on top? No. Do double A. Active color on top? Yes. Move it aside. No. Do double A again. So I did not get any farther than just the corners. I did not finish with the flow charts to do the edges or the centers, because then I moved on to other things. But initially, first off, I just started with 3x5 cards. And I had my arrows were 3 instead of 2. Again, this is back when I was working with a 3. Different things that it could be. I had not simplified things down to just A and B. I had other things I was doing. Trying to, my way of showing the sides of the cube. It's not as elegant as you guys do now. Swap opposite final corners. Okay. Top corners, top edges, bottom corners, bottom edges, position sides. Can't read my own handwriting. So that's just first one. Then I went to the craft store and bought the little spiral notebook and drew pictures. Simple solve for every cube. I did not have the name for the solution yet, but you go from, and again it was geared for 3. And then I drew a larger cube down here. 2 formula solution to all puzzle cubes. These 2. Not all cubes are traditionally colored. You should be able to start with the color of your choice. So this book uses non-traditional colors. Substitute for the actual colors on your cube and continue. Formula 1. Before I Before there, I named them A and B. I had them Formula 1 and 2. 6 times returns to start. This is what happens when you do Formula B on the corners. It goes from not solved to needing to do A. So you do Formula B and it goes from here to here. And then you do Formula A 2 times, then rotate the top. Keep going. Don't get discouraged. You are farther along than it looks like right now. This looks like the first step, but questions aren't necessary like in the first step because you already know that the white, your active color, is on the top. Turn to flip it upside down. You can work on the second core. Pick your new active color. This gives you blocks from 22. So this is just part of my history, trying to go through steps to figure it out. The row and columns being moved to the center. You move it away, the space down, the cube into the space and back up again. And then you look to see if these are correct. These are then preface. So that is fun for me to share with you guys. And then I've started printing things out at the library. Got this far. 2 formula cube solve for non-cubists. A brief overview of a brief history of Rubik's type cubes. As far as I can tell, the first Rubik's type puzzle was patented by Larry D. Nichols in 1970 with a U.S. patent number of 3655201A. The 8 cubes were held together by magnets and could be twisted around the axis to scramble or solve a 6-sided, 6-colored cube, or it could be pulled apart and reassembled. Erno 3x3, Erno Rubik patented his 3x3 in 1975. HU 170062. It differed from Nichols' cube in how it internally held itself together. His cube was originally called Magic Cube. It took Rubik about a month to solve his own invention. The name of the cube was changed to identify its creator. They didn't want to call it a magic cube because they were afraid people would think it was associated with the occult and be afraid of it. 5x5, the 4x4 Professor's Cube was patented by Pete Sebensteady in 1982. There's the patent number, and by Li Chen Shane in 1998. There's that patent number. It was known as both Rubik's Revenge and also the Master Cube. And then the 5x5 was called the Professor's Cube. And then Singmaster wrote a tutorial and standardized the naming of it. And the Void Cube, etc. Oh boy, this is dated. They're not that expensive anymore. Yeah, my goal was to get a book published and get it sold with a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5 puzzles together, or just the 5x. You could buy it in either 2 ways, but you had to have a cube in your hand or the book made no sense. Back when I bought the books, everyone had a cube, so it didn't matter. Everyone had a cube. Not everyone could solve it. The formulas, here we are to formula A and B. And then I had the inverse of A and B going the other direction, so, and I didn't have the mirrors. Chapter 1, corners. Set up. Bring active color to the top. I created these at the library. I didn't have a computer at the time. So I divided the corners into 3 steps, the edges into 3 steps, and the centers into 3 steps. The corners was active color up, a position, the reposition is needed, and then active color up. Flip and do those 1, 3 again. The edges were side edges done, the yellow and white. And then, or opposite edges done, then flip the white to the bottom and do side edges same way. And the step 3 was the parity, if there was one. And then the 3 steps for the edges. I don't remember what those 3 steps were, but it was working out. This one? What does this one look like? Oh. Corners. Step 1, corners. I turned the camera. Come back. So I started with just pencil sketches. Oh, B mirror. Do B or do B mirror. Step 4, all cubes. Down. I've shown you those. Hi, Doug. I know you've seen some of my old stuff, but I'm just showing off the how I got to where I am. Did you see this one? I went to the dollar store and got a 3-ring plain binder and started drawing my formulas into it. That was my first attempt at publishing. Trying to minute 2. Okay, here's formula A, what formula A does. If you do, here's what 2A does. If your cube starts here and you do 2A, your cube ends up here. If you do another 2A, it ends up to the top. Here is formula B. If you want to switch these 2 cubes, because these ones match already. So you do formula B, and then it looks like this. And then you go back to formula A and make it look like that. First goal, get all 4 corners to match. Showing that it works on the void cube as well. Which I like how I drew the void cube. I think that looks pretty good, like a void cube. I think I did pretty well on that. Oh. Okay. That's it. That's my history of writing the book. So I have a ABCube, and when I play with the ABCube, it's fun because the ABCube tries to figure out which method I'm using. Sometimes it tells me I'm doing roux, sometimes it tells me I'm doing CFOP, sometimes it can't figure out which method I'm using. And after I do a solve, you can look at it and see the pie chart for where do you need to improve, where are you taking too long, where is your turn, are you pausing, where's your turn, what's your turns per second and all that. And it's funny because I do the corners first, all four corners first, and then I do the side edges, and then when I get to that point, it says, "Oh, you did your you did your white cross." It took you this many turns, 100 turns or whatever, to do the white cross. You can probably do better than that. And then it says you did 0 turns, and then I do the side edges, and it says that you did 0 turns, this many turns to do the second layer, and then you did and then you did 0 turns to do all the rest of the cube. And so the pie chart looks really strange because it cannot figure out because it doesn't know my method, which I would love to. What I would love to see is, I think that ABCube should come out with a 5, and I think that I should contact them before they do, so that they can add my solution to one of the things that they recognize. And because the ABCube, if you don't know how to solve the cube, it will tell you what moves to make, I guess, the God formula to get it back to solved, and then it will teach you how to do the beginner's method. And I would love to be able to teach my ABCube method with a 5x5 when the 5x5, I have them do that. If I could, that would just be beyond thrilling to me. I would love that so much. So that's why I'm trying to get credibility online, so that I can yeah, I first started once I had the cube. The book, well, you've seen it has several iterations, but it originally I wrote it as 3x3, and then with the next chapter saying, by the way, it also works with 4x4 and 5x5 and on and on. But there are a gazillion books and videos out there on how to solve a 3x3 beginner's method, and there are, or were at the time, 0 methods for a beginner's method for the 5x5. So I approached agents and said, "Hi, I've got a new method for solving the Rubik's Cube, and I want to, I want you to represent me." And they said, "Oh, well, the first one said, I thought that are Rubik's Cube still a thing? I thought those were done." And I said, "Nope, they're definitely still a thing." And he goes, "Oh, I'll go talk to my grandson, see what he says." And called me back and said, "Yes, my grandson says that they're still hot, and you get your book written and we'll help you publish it." And so I'm like, cool. And so he, I kept working on it and called him once a month. I call him and say, "I'm still working on it." I'm like, "Okay." And I sent him the first chapter, which was the corners. And he said, "Great, now give me $5,000. And I said, "No, that's not the way this is supposed to work." So hi again, Doug. So I started approaching agents online. There was a website that said it would help you keep track of it, and I had 2 people that said, "Yeah, I want to know more. Show me the first chapter." And then they said, "This is not my area of expertise, but good luck." And so I searched. I wanted to do the For Dummies, and so I searched the For Dummies pages to see if they had a Rubik's Cube, and they did not. And I'm like, yay, they did not. So I kept working on my book, and then they said, down. The next time I looked, there was one, because the fact that I had looked meant they thought that there was interest for it, and so they went out and found someone to write the For Dummies book, and I was so upset. So bummed. So I went and looked at it because on Kindle you can get a free chapter download, and it wasn't even a self-contained book. It said, you know, when you get if your cube looks like this, go to YouTube and type in this search string and watch that video, and then come back. And I'm like, that's crappy. And so the next time I looked, they did not have. It was not up on the For Dummies website anymore, and I think the guy had to change the name because it wasn't good enough. But so I'm like, okay, it's there, but it's crap. I can still do better. And so I rewrote it from the 5x5 perspective, because from the 5x5, nothing gets more complex, and everything else is simpler. Well, simpler is fewer moves, and so yeah, that's my story. Okay, probably because 5x5 is not exactly it's not considered a beginner's puzzle, but I think that they all should be, because I can teach the 5x5 in the same amount of time I can teach the 3x3, and it takes me about an hour and a half to teach someone, and then they can walk away with a 5x5, a 6x6, a 10x10, a 2x2. It doesn't matter. At the end of those 2 hours, hour and a half, they can solve it. So I can take beginners, absolute complete beginners, and they walk away comfortable and confident that they can solve a 5x5. You know, I totally sidestep the how fast can you go and the competition out of it, and just say, here's a cube. This is a toy. If you do this, this is how it responds. Congratulations, you can now solve a cube you didn't think you could solve. So that is fun for me. All right. I'm just gonna twist. See what I'm doing here. I have tried my method on the Mega Minx. It does not work on like the first side or the last side. I just kind of do like gravity. Hold on, I'll go get one. Oopsie. Yes. So I start by just I think of a monkey in the zoo, and I'll start with the white, and I start with my edges, and I'm gonna scramble it, even though it doesn't. Yeah, my Formula B, I use the sexy move, which is the inverse of A, and I use Formula B to do everything in between. I do the first row. So here's white on the bottom. So I find a white that's that's somewhere on. I find a white. Here's a white, and I'll bring it up to the top. Bring it over where it wants to be, which is right there, and then I let the piece fall down using gravity and letting it line up, and then swing it into position. Okay, this one snaps there, so I just use intuition. Bring it up, bring it over where it wants to be. Let it fall, and fall. Whoops. Where'd my white go? Fall. Fall. Bring this up. Bring it around where it wants to be. Fall down. That's, where's my other white? Okay. Red and down. And then same with the, bring it over where it wants to be, and just do the sexy move until it's in place. Swing it along, and then sexy move to put it in place. After I do the first layer, then I use Formula B to place these, and then place the corners, and I go up layer by layer, till I get to the top, and then my formulas don't work for the last layer, so I have to revert to are you front right up front, and then are you to get the rest, to get the last ones done. So I don't teach these. I only teach the ones that my method will work on. These and these. If I had any other ones, I had a banded a compound cube. I don't know what you call it, but like they have a cube in common, so it's like two cubes put together, and I would just, the last cube is I just solve it as if it were two cubes. But when they're banded with the whole row, and my formulas don't work, Siamese cube, thank you. Then if my formulas don't work on it, then I give them away. I don't keep them. It's just because I have narrowed my field of expertise to just teaching my own method. And on top, sexy move. Oh, we got a 5x. This is the plus cube. And it also, I just treat it like a 5x5 with some of the pieces missing. And I just solve it like it were a 5x5. There's two yellow, red, and greens, and so I bring the color to the top, and then I work slowly down. But the cube itself will, I try to place the yellow, green, and red up to the top, and the cube itself forces it to go in whichever one it's supposed to be in. Never tried one of these. It blows my mind does not work on this one, because I don't understand how you can do that. I don't understand. It's just the cubes not, and then still turning. And so it's, but it scrambles, and then I just solve it. Like you can't turn this, but you can turn this. So it can only turn. You can only turn like the 3x3. doesn't turn like a 5 by 5, it turns like a 3 by 3. It's fun. It's fun. It's very like a 3 by 3. I solve it by shape first. For example, here's my whites. The sticker on top shows which direction the whites want to be. So this is green. So I want the green facing it. Notice where here's a white. So, white. There's a white cross, blue, orange, green, and red. And then, like, okay, here's, I just do formula A to bring it to the top. It doesn't matter what color, the inside ones don't matter what color they are. Don't have to worry about the sides matching for these ones because that happens on the other ones. Formula A brings it right to the top, and then flip it around and do Formula A again to bring yellow to the top. Slide the top to protect the bottom. I'm actually doing the inverse because I'm lazy. And because of the mathematics of the cube, the bottom automatically reverts. Okay, so now let's see here. Okay, let's move this one over to here using formula B. Up, up, down, down. And that's there. Move this one over here. Up, up, down, down, and last one, move this one over here. Away up, and up, away down, and down. And so orange, green, red, and blue. The sticker's in the right formation for the top. And then I just pick a color and I start working down. I like starting with green. So all right, this green, so okay, white. So this cube, I move it up and then up, it'll be there. So I go up, slide up, slide down, slide down, and it's right here. Up, slide, up, slide, down, slide down, and there it is. Look for more greens. Here's a green and a red. In the right position. Here's a green. Okay, we'll move this over to here. It's more thought planning. So once I've got this, then I look for. The thing about this is I have to look for the piece that I want, whereas in my method I just find a piece that's wrong and toss it in this general direction and it stays and it doesn't mess up anything else. So here this piece is blue and yellow, so I'll bring it up, slide it over to the yellow, and then it'll go down. I can pretend that this is, I just do formula B using this column and this column. So I go away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. And there it is. This one wants to go here, away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. There it is. Find another primary color piece. Purple and orange. Bring it to the top, bring it over the purple and orange. Let it fall. Move it out of the way and get my white right to the bottom. So purple and orange, there we go. Purple and orange, I can't place it yet. I've got to get the purple and yellow first. Okay, here's the purple and yellow. Up, up, down, down. Okay. Need to find the blue and red. No idea where the blue and red one is. There it is. Blue and red. Bring it over and then let it fall. and then place it up, up, down, down, red and green, up, up. I still don't know, I suppose it's not a green, I don't know what color it is. So, okay. And then I do these corners. Purple and yellow, purple and yellow. Match the orange and fall down. Blue, yellow, green, blue, yellow, green. This one. Blue, yellow. Wrong green, that's not it. Where'd it go? Blue, yellow, green. Match the front and fall down. One, okay, so, all right. Match the pink and fall down. 2, 3, 4. So, this is it. Move it up to the top. Bring it forward over where it wants to be. Match the front color and let it fall down. Okay, so I'm going to do these corners, these edges. Blue yellow is not ready to be placed yet. Blue green is ready to be placed. So I want it to go right there. Move it up. Work from the top. Up, up, down, down. Magnets would make it so much nicer. There we go. Purple and orange. Wants to go right there. Up, up, down, down. Slide it back. Okay. Red and yellow wants to go right there. Up, up, down, down. Whoopsie. Okay, there we go. Lost my white for a second. Okay. Let's find a lemon and a dark green. Or let's find, okay. This wants to go next to this one. Up, up, down, down. Put it back down. And so I'm just going, I'm going layer by layer. Yellow and orange, let's put it to the top. Bring it over. Line it up, it wants to go there. Up, up, down, down. yellow and lime this one. Go up to the top, bring it over. We'll put it next to the corner there. One, up, up, down, down. Okay, there. I'm looking for blue and reds, pink and blue and reds. Here's a pink and blue. Here's pink and red. Okay, let's take a gray and put it down, displace it, so it's at the top where I can work on it. Okay, so pink and red. Bring the cube to where it matches the front. It'll place right there. Up, up, down, down, reset. Looking for pieces that I can place. Okay. All right, somewhere there's these two colors. There it is. Okay. Bring it over to the top. Line it up, 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 down, down, reset. 1, 2, I can do blue and purple. It's right here. Let's place the gray where it is so we can displace it. Mean to remove that. I think I did. Let's set it again. There it is. Bring it above where it wants to be. It's going in this direction. Bring it up, 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 down, down, reset. Okay, those are done, those are done, those are done, those are done, those are done. Now, back to the sexy move. Over where it wants to be. Sexy move. Something that's not gray. Over where it wants to be. Sexy move. Not gray. Over where it wants to be. Sexy move. The current best Megaminx is probably the Dion version 2. It's magnetic. That would make it a lot easier. It would. Before magnetic cubes became a thing, I saw a magnetic Rubik's Cube that it was just the 27 cubes held together by magnets, so it was like the original 2x2, and you could take it apart and put it back together again. But the magnets were strong enough to hold it as a cube, and you could turn it. And I'm like, oh, I want that. And you couldn't buy it, but you could only find the instructions on how to make it. And I don't have a drill and all the other stuff, and so I'm like, I'm just gonna find this. And so I started searching for magnetic Rubik's Cubes, and then magnetic Rubik's Cubes became a thing. And so I couldn't find the magnetic 27 blocks that I wanted to get, but I would love to have that. Just the 27 acrylic, just the 27 acrylic blocks with the holes drilled for the magnets to hold it together, and then you put stickers on top of it, and you can take it apart like magnets, because I love playing with magnets. I do. I love magnets. So that would be fun for me. Going back to here. Not to gray. Move it above where it wants to be. And it goes this direction. Up. Up. Down. Down. Gray, gray, gray. Not a gray. Move it above where it goes. This direction. Up. Up. Down. Down. Gray, gray, not a gray. Up, up, down, down. Gray, 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 not a gray. Oh, forgot this one. What happened to you? Sexy. There we go. Okay. Up. Up. Down. Down. Okay, there. One more. Up. Up. Okay, I'm gonna like this question. If you love playing with magnets, do you ever see the physical 2x2x2x2? Oh, you have to send me a link. Can I search that right? I want to search that. Whatever it is, I'm already sold. I want one of those. Whatever it is, I want it already. If you know a name, how search string for me to find it from Google, tell me and I will find it. If it's less than $50, I'm gonna buy it today. Okay. Here's where my formula stops working. So front, right, up, right, up, front. Front, right, up, front. Front, right, up, front. Okay, which ones do I need to do to get these last two? Front, right, up, front. That's not it. Again, front, right, up, front. There. Okay. And then, okay, these two match, these two don't. So, you are. Okay, now I can go back to Melinda's. I will search for Melinda's 2x2x2x2. Okay, so now my formula B works again, and I can just, because this one's correct, the rest of them, this one's correct. Okay, so I'm going to treat this one as correct. I'm going to go away, up, in, up, away, down, in, down. I want to do that again. Away, up, away, up, away, down, away, down. It's not it. This one is not. Okay. Away, up, away, up, away, down, away, down. These two are correct. Good. Good. Okay. protect them. Up, up, down, down, again, up, up, down, down. Yay! And now, formula A, inverse of A brings it, or A actually will bring it back to the top. So out, down, in, up, down, in, up, down, in, up, down, in, up, slide, out, down, and up, down, and up, down, and up, down, and up, slide, out, down, and up, down, and up, down, and up, down, and up, and match the top. Boom! I did it. I can still do it. So you have a reasonable... Oh, is this the mega? I forget names. Yes, I do the first layer pretending there's gravity, and then I do up until the last layer using my formula B's and formula A. My formula is A's and B's, just row by row. So really? And then I have to use 2 algorithms for placing and positioning the top edges, and then that's the only thing I need to use a parity algorithm for, and then the rest of it I can do using just common sense and my algorithms. So I did have to remember the front right up front, and the are you. I haven't timed myself. I wish I'd had. I'm betting that if I had a magnetic one, that'd cut the time down as well, because half of it is lining everything up. Soon? Which one? The are you, or the front right up front? The front right up, no, that's not sledgehammer. Sledgehammer is the mirror of the sexy move, because it works with the right and front instead of the right and top. Are you, you are. That's called soon. Okay. I just, it's existential. Are you, you are. It's just an existential question for me. That's how I remember it. Oh, I was solving this one. Okay. You want to time me? Let's time me. Let's scramble. I don't have a timer, but I'm just going to, if you have a timer, you can time me. I'm going to say go when I start. Go. That doesn't mean it's not fun to do. I don't care about how fast I am, but it's good. It's good to measure, but I don't really care. Meaning that I know, I know that I'm not. I mean, when I'm really trying, I can get about 1.5 minutes. And it's scientifically proven that when you measure yourself, you improve, just by the fact that you're measuring yourself. So I will occasionally measure myself even though I don't care what it is. I don't identify with what my time is. It's not a speed cube. I agree, definitely not a speed cube. And I messed up my yellows. Okay. Yeah, I messed up my yellows. So if I was timing myself, this would be a DNF. Okay, I don't know. I have a Duncan that is considered a speed cube, and it is so loose that I just can't play with it. It's just like, it's like, it has its own mind. Okay. This is smooth. This is smooth. I like this one. I'm going to scramble it. I have not memorized any scrambles. I just blind myself to the cube and keep twisting it, and then toss it in the air and twist it again without knowing what I am. I will time myself, but I don't really care about it. Really? Is there like an admissions charge? How does the comp work? I've never been. All right. I'm gonna get my pen. I'm going to go write down May 19th through 21. All right, I'm committed now. It is on my calendar. Oh, really? Really? So I have to like register like right now? World Q. All right. I'm looking. General info events, May 19th, Salt Lake City, Utah. There's an address. Information event, main event. 300. Number of times booked, March 89. I don't have a WC account. Click here. Oh, back. AB. abcube.how@gmail.com. What is this called? I'm gonna, okay, write down my pen. Hold on. It's a race! A race! I hope I win. Let's see. Write down the password. Give me a blank page so I can write down the password. Okay. World Cube Association. .org. I'm using my abcube.how password. Password. Never complete. I'm not a robot. I've never completed. Okay. Citizenship. I'm not American. Maybe it's United States. I'm not a robot. Write down my password so I don't forget it. Today is May 6th. Keeping track of my passwords. Sign up. Uh-oh. Okay, hold on. Re-enter password. I must have missed something. Okay, try that again. Is my numlock on? Oh, I've never completed my name. My birthday again. Ah! What did you do? What did you do? Registration closed yet? Okay. All right. Well, I didn't. You won't let me register anyway because it's not doing things right. So I'm. All right. Forget registering. Go ahead and leave. You don't have to register. You just want to spectate. I will go and spectate and hang out. Registration closed yesterday. That's okay. I'm still one step further. to going. I'm gonna go. I won't compete, but I will go. That will be fun. Thank you for telling me. All right. What was I doing? Okay. That's because I saw the cap of 30, 298 with a cap of 30 and thought, oh, I have to race, I have to get it. And then I wasn't, I was doing that while you were typing. Does it take 4 minutes for your message to show up, or was I just busy 4 minutes trying to register? No fee for spectators. That was only to okay, that's all right. I thought, you know what? Doesn't hurt to try. So there's gonna be 300 competitors. So okay, is it? Well, I'll go online and find out. I'm not gonna ask you all these questions. There's events like blindfolded 4x4 and blindfolded 5x5. My brain does not work that way. I am not that smart. See, that's the thing about when you solve a cube, at least back when I was, you know, the non-cubers are like, wow, you must be really smart if you can solve the cube, you know, because I could never get 5 blind success after about 10. Before blind was a thing, I would cheat with it. My softball pattern, I memorized that pattern. I didn't have Formula B back then, but I just memorized how to get it and just memorized it from start to end. And so I would take a cube with either a blank cube and put it behind my back and solve it into my softball and bring it back out front, and then I would take it softball and put it behind my back and solve it back into a solved cube, and people thought that was amazing, but it was just a big old long memorization. But what I did do, my sister, my oldest sister, I've got 3 of them, she would play with the cube, but she had absolutely no interest in trying to get the colors to line up. She just thought that it was fun to twist in colors and see how they moved. She did not care about solving it. But she wanted people to think, she loved magic tricks and tricking people. And so we came up with a thing where I was like, okay, I can solve it and we can solve it together, and you can claim that you learned it backwards. But you only know it backwards. You don't know how to do it by yourself. And so it was just, I would just place my thumb wherever. If I placed my thumb here, it meant turn it this way. If I placed my thumb here, it meant turn it that way. If I placed my thumb this way, it meant do a 2. So I'd either place it, sometimes I'd place it here, sometimes I'd place it here, depending on, and sometimes she would hold the cube and I would turn it, and sometimes I would hold the cube and she would turn it, so people couldn't tell, you know, who was actually doing it once. And she would turn it however I told her to turn it, and it would solve, and people thought that was fun. She still is the only person I have not been able to teach because she does not want to learn. She's like, nope, I don't care. I just think they're fun to turn. I just want to sit and look at the pretty colors. I'm like, okay. 4 blind successes. So much fun things to do. I can teach my sister, my second sister. She has a cube, and she does the beginner's method. She gets as far as 2 layers, and then she doesn't remember the rest. And so every time she's on a road trip, she'll call me and she'll say, okay, this is what my cube looks like right now. What do I do? And I will talk her through, okay, we'll hold it this way with this one front, and I'll talk it through using the standardized notation and tell her what to do, and but using my formulas, but tell her in standardized notation what to do. And so she'll do it, and then when it's solved, she'll say, "Okay, thank you, love you, bye," and she'll hang up. So she just calls me to help her do the last layer of the cube. But I can teach. I can teach it sight unseen, just by letting the person who's doing it be my eyes, and if they don't know the standardized notation, then I just get very specific, like rotate the top row so that the top front right becomes the top front left. So that's fun. I can do that. Do you have a timer? Do you want to time me on this one? Team blind. All right. I've read up on some of the blind solves. Like, they look at the cube and they map out how everything is going to be, and they apply letters to the positions of where the cubes are, and they can just map out, after I do this thing, this is what it's going to look like, and I go into doing that thing. I can do that for my Formula B. I know what Formula B from a solved first 4 on top, it goes right into two Formula A's, 6 Formula A's. I mean, I can do that much, but it's just being able to look at the cube and know, plan ahead and things like that. My brain does not work that way. I just pick one cube at a time and throw it where it wants to be. Team blind, wow. Yes, the most popular strategy uses a series of swaps, 2 cycles, first on edges and on corners. When I was working on getting just my 2 formulas, I found, because I use Formula A for the corners and for the centers, and I use Formula B for everything else, but I did find a site that used what is my Formula B, just commutations, but what is my Formula B, to place the corners. But you had to think ahead about orientation and things like that, and it was too mentally complex for me. So it is possible to solve the entire cube just using Formula B, but I ain't smart enough to do it. Yes. I've seen those. So it's like you have to memorize, you have to look at it and you have to say, okay, if I want to swap these 2 and these 2, then I do this thing, and if I want to swap these 2 and these 2, then I do this thing, and it just, yeah. I'm old. My brain is simple. I just you do the thing. This is what happens. 2 stickers in 2 pieces, meaning a flip. Oh, they stick to only using 2x2, 3x3, but loads of setup moves. Yeah, I can't confirm this, but when I was watching the movie about the 2 speed solvers, Felix and I don't know the other one, 2 or 3, they said that for a speed solver will generally learn around 300 algorithms to get really good. And that is not true. Okay, well, from beginner's method through learning all of the different types of methods, you may not use 300 for each solve or any solve, only around 100 algorithms. Okay, I will use that as my number. Yeah, but I remembered back from my days of learning, you had to learn each move you had to learn not only what the algorithm is and what it does, but which order to use them in, because if you do this one first, if you do, then it's going to mess up these other ones as well. Quite intuitive, CFOP. Orient position. The last two are orient position. Cross, first two, orient and position. That's CFOP, right? Yeah, I learned the white cross first, but then as I was trying to learn other methods first, they're like, do a daisy first, which is get your 4 whites around the yellow, like so, and then take each white, line it up to the edge, and flip it down, which is just an extra step if you ask me. So daisy, and then into the first cross, white cross. Yeah, and that's the thing, when I was creating this, and I realized that, I mean, I have found the formula B, and I wrote it out to be able to do the centers on my 5x5, and I narrowed it down to where I could see, because with arrows I can see that there's a left and a right, and there's an up and a down, and I can see how that works, but my brain has to translate that R plus, or R, is parallel to an L minus L prime. So that's why I'm more visual. Yeah, I looked at the Ortega method for the 2x2 the other day, and it's like, if your cube looks like this, you do these things, and if your cube looks like this, you do these things, and so it's like a lot of memorizing. But I still can't understand how to do a blind. I mean, to be able to look at a cube and map that many algorithms ahead, to be able to see, that's just a crazy amount of pattern intuition. Okay, so they're memorizing the state of the cube looks like this, and then they know in their head that if they do this algorithm, it's going to look like this, so they know what to do the next algorithm? Or am I just not smart enough to understand? Okay. They figure out the execution on the fly. A lot of setup moves. That's what everyone, when I first learned this, well, no, it wasn't this one. It was the one with this one. I'm like, I want to learn this one. And when I'm looking at someone else's tutorials, a lot of times I feel like if I don't already know what they're doing, I can't follow it. Putting pieces in the right starting spot to execute it, and else remember to undo the, yeah, that's what I do. Like when I'm doing my softball, I move the left up, and I do the V, and then I move the left down again, and then I turn the cube around and I do left up, and then I do the B twice, and I put it down again. So on my ABCube.how, there's a lot of setup too. It's like, okay, hold the cube so that this cube is going to land here, and then do this thing, and then reset your top, or reset your this and that. But I could not, I can't, I have a difficult time following most people's tutorials. You know, it's like, okay, now we're going to place this cube over here, and then he does it, and I'm like, that's great if I already knew what you were doing, but I don't know what you're doing. So I'll have to like rewatch like these 5 seconds over and over and over again to slow it down and see what I'm doing and make notes of it. And so that's why when I did my own tutorials, I made each step its own video, and I did that step from multiple setups, so that you could see whatever it was your cube looked like. You're going to be able to see what to do. And then once the corners are in place, then we'll go to the next step. So I think I was proud of myself for that. But with this, with the 3x9, the closest I could get was this like 20 plus something move algorithm, and that said, okay, it's going to move these cubes around and these cubes around, so set your cube up so that that's going to be advantageous, and then do this thing, and then unset your cube and look at it to see what to do next. And I was like, I looked at a different tutorial every day for a month, trying to figure it out. And I said, I don't get it. So I grabbed a big cube like this one and said, let me just pretend that I can't move the yellows or the whites. And so that meant that since I couldn't move the yellows or the whites, that meant that I was going to be doing, give me a big cube. I don't have a big cube. That meant I was going to be doing just the top twice instead of the top once. And then I took my 7x cube that I knew how to solve, so I didn't worry about messing it up, and said, okay, I'm going to work on just the outside, the first inner layer. And so I did it, and I said, okay, that's what it looks like. 6 times goes back to start. Every even numbered ones leaves the edges alone and just works on the centers. And looking at the odd numbered ones, these are the ones that flip and then flip back again. So 3 key things flipped on the right, 1 thing flipped on the left, or positioned. 2 things flipped and two things swapped and 2 things swapped. So I'm like, okay, it's easier to control the left because only 1 thing swaps at a time. So I did my formula B and it mastered it in a day after spending a month not being able to figure out anyone else's thing out there. So I have not done a tutorial. Well, I have here. Since you teach cubing, it's easier for you. Yes, but I was just trying to learn. I do teach cubing now, but this was before I was teaching the cubing. This is before I came up with my method. It was just hard for me. Who do I consider the most popular cube teacher right now? Oh, I want it to be me. Ask me that next year. I want it to be me. I don't know, because I don't actually. I know when I watch newbies say, hey, I'm new, I want to learn, what do I do? And everyone says, go watch J-Perm's videos. That's what I hear most often. Everyone says, go watch J-Perm's videos. And so I'm like, not very many people actually teach. They all say, hey, go watch J-Perm's videos. Then that's how I learn. That's how you can learn. And so, yay, I guessed it right. It's J-Perm. That's what I consider to be the most popular cube teacher, because that's who I see cubists recommending. But I have a little crush on Jeffrey Verasano. When I watch his YouTube tutorial, um, my brain tries to follow what he's doing, and he's very intuitive. He's like, okay, do this. And the reason why I found him was someone said that they thought that my method was similar to his method, and so I went and looked him up and realized, oh my goodness, he's the guy I watched set the world record. It is very important to pay attention to whether learning materials are out there. But he's like, you know, how would, if you wanted this cube to be out of this position, you would move it up to here and do this to move it up to here, and then just just move it out of the way, and then just reverse what you did. And I'm going, I can't remember what I did to reverse it. I don't that important. It is, and I admit that I am very limited in that I'm when I think I'm on the autism scale, but I'm not sure. But when I created this method, the hardest part of it was unlearning what I knew how to do. It's like, I'd get to a position. It's like, I know how to do that. I'll just do this shortcut, and then it's like, but I want to make sure that I can. I don't want to put that in my book. I want to see what I can do. I like watching patterns being done and things like that. Yeah. So, but ever since back in high school, back when the cube first came out, and I mastered the cube, I memorized the cube. I thought I'd mastered the cube. I didn't really have the understanding of it that I do now, but I could solve the cube and I could teach. And so the thing is that people would come up to me and say, hey, can you show me how? And I got such a serotonin rush from being able to show people how to do it, and they would get so excited. And so, it wasn't my own method, it wasn't my own thing, but they would come to me and I would show them what to do, and they're like, thank you, and they'd run, and then they'd do it and then come back, what do I do now? Thank you. And that was just fed me. That just emotionally fed me. And so I'm like, this is what I and then a lifetime later, when I became disabled and I couldn't work anymore, and I read these books that said the thing you're best suited to do. What were you really good at between the ages of 10 and 12? What did you enjoy doing? And is there a way to between 10 to 14, 16, that age area, what is it you wanted to do, and what was fun for you at that time? And teaching the cube was my answer to that. And so I'm like, and when I figured out my own solution, I'm like, I could write a book. And I had zero encouragement from my now ex-husband. He's like, oh, you're always twisting that cube. Sounds like a chipmunk's chittering and da da da, and I don't like it. And so when I got on my own and thought, what do I want to do? What do I like to do? What is fun for me? This was it. Well, I read a book. No, I wrote a manuscript. It's not a book until it's published, but actually I did kind of publish it online, my ABCube method. With all of my heart, I want to be able to hold this in my hand and have it marketed with a set of training cubes, the 2 through the 5, or just the 5. because I want to be able to say, hey, I wrote the book. Look at this. Look at me. I wrote the book. And I know there's a gazillion books out there, and I know that the 5x5 is not considered a beginner's, but it could be. It could be. And so that's why I'm listed on the Wikipedia page for the Professor's Cube as one of, there's like 6 solutions for the 5x5 that are mentioned. And, I'm one of them. Because I was the only beginner's method for the 5x5. There was a point where I want to try, but someone, as I was signing off, I saw someone said that there was another streamer in my state, another Cube streamer in my state, Joey Day. So even though I'd signed off on it, by the time I saw the message, I went and looked at him, found him, and watched a couple of his videos, and it's Joey Day. Sometimes organized. So I found him. He is in my area. That's amazing. He will probably be, since he's in my area, he'll probably be going to the comp this month, because I heard him talking about going to other comps, and with the caveat of, well, I'll go to the ones in my area, but nationals is a pretty penny. So on my list of things to do, I want to meet Jeffrey Verasano, and I know all I gotta do is go to Georgia and go to his pizza place, but I want to meet him. And I want to go to a comp, which I'm gonna do this month, so yay! One of the things I've listed in my bio is that knowing and teaching the cube in my teenage years was how I survived my high school years, because I was, like I said, I was probably on the spectrum, and I was bullied a lot, and I was a dweeb, and so I was picked on a lot. But as I started teaching people the cube, more people would come around me, and they're like, and at first it was just my friends, then it was like a bigger circle, and then they would take turns, or like, put the cube in front of me, what do I do? And I'm like, this, and they're like, okay. And then someone else, what do I do? This, and unspoken, just out of the blue, for for a couple of days, the bullies just stopped bullying me for a couple of days, and I wonder what's up. And then one of them was in my circle, and they held a cube out to me and said, will you teach me too? I said, absolutely. And then the next day, all of the bullies were in the periphery of my circle and saying, what do I do? What do I do? And so from that point on, they didn't bully me. I could have, no, you're mean, go away, you're not my, but it's like, I can teach, and they want me to. This is awesome. Yeah. Especially, there's a theory about how new generations come up just hardwired to understand new different things, like technology is always first understood by the young kids, well, when the cube first came out and I was a teenager, me and everyone younger than me got the cube and learned it, but people older than me are like, oh, well, that's interesting. I'm glad you're having fun. And then, so it's just like, I've heard that, that the younger kids are just, like how kids nowadays will say, I know how to do, oh, thank you for following me, Gator Rubix, thank you. like kids nowadays will say, job interviews, yes, I can do this, yeah, I can do that, and they're like, I feel like a imposter because I really can't do it. I just search YouTube and find out how to do it and then do it on the fly. And it's like, well, you could, they think, well, you could search YouTube same as I can, or you could Google it same as I can. And the thing is that I could, but I don't have the experience or intuition to know which search strings to search for. And once I find it, my brain isn't wired to actually understand what I'm reading. And so even though what looks simple to young people, our brains are not wired to understand it as intuitively. There were not no. Everyone had the same book. Everyone had this book until the world record, and then everyone had this book. Jeff Cooker's The Cube. Yeah, we could not go to YouTube and search how to do it. So I don't know if there's anything to that, but I agree with you that older people do not do the cube so much, and probably, if they're older than, I'm probably the old. I'm in my 50s, mid 50s, so. But to see you young whippersnappers, doing sub 20s, when plus 20 was the world's record, the first world's record. And that was so, I thought I was pretty good. I was down to about 3 minutes. Sub 20, yeah, well, yeah. Hello. All right. I looked. He's in his 40s. He's about 10 years younger than me. I could learn. I'm sure that I could learn the finger tricks, but to do so I'd have to, one of the things when I learned, there was no the sing master, not the sing master, the Norse, there was no B for the back, because you just never turned the back, you just rotated the cube, and he only worked with the top, base, right, left, and front. I've watched some people doing speed cubing, and they can turn the back without solving it. So I'm sure I know some people can, but turn the sides, and it literally took 2 hands to make each turn back then, because the cubes were not smooth like that. Well, this has been fun, you guys. Thank you for joining me on a Saturday. I will be back. I'm doing daily for like half an hour from 9 to 9:30, just doing a breakdown of the cube corners one day, side opposite edges the next day, like that. Just because that's what my roommate asked me for, so I'm like, I can do that. So I will take as homework that I should study. I will study some J prims this week and see what I can learn. All right. Thank you, Doug. Hey, does anybody else have? How many people are seeing? Yeah. Does anyone have any questions for me before I sign off? Okay. Thank you for spending time with me. I will be back here on Monday morning, and I will be back here a week from. I do weekday mornings. Oh, Livy. Wait a minute. Livia. Oh, what was the name I was supposed to search for the 4x4? And who is Livia? Livia. I'm gonna write that down. Pen. Where'd my pen go? All right. Cat Rubik's. CIT? Melinda's 2x2x2, and Livia is Cat Rubik's. Is she on YouTube? Or is Livia and Cat Rubik's two different people? I will look for both. All right. Thank you. I will be. Livia is a young cuber that I find entertaining. She's also very fast. Oh, sorry. Someone else said Cat Rubik's. Oh, you gave me. Oh, Skater Girl. Okay. I will check that out. What is who? Gator Rubik's. What does Cat Rubik's mean? Is that something I should check out? All right, I have my homework for the week. All right, I will be back on Monday, and I'll be back Friday evening and Saturday morning again. Well, and so thank you for spending time with me. I appreciate it. Yes, I will enjoy doing that. Okay. All right. Bye, Doug. Bye, Gator.